You know, when you hear the name Rembrandt, you probably think of a master painter, right? An artist who is just incredible with light and shadow. But what if he was something more? What if he was an engineer? Someone who didn't just paint a scene, but actually constructed, piece by piece, how you would see it.
So here it is, The Night Watch from 1642. Just take a second. Let your eyes wander around the canvas. Where do they go first? Which figure grabs your attention? Because here's the thing. Where your eyes just went, that wasn't random. It wasn't an accident. That was a choice made for you almost 400 years ago. This painting is basically a machine, one designed to guide your gaze. The real question is, how did he build it?
To figure that out, we have to bring in some modern science. Because today, we have technology that can actually reverse engineer what Rembrandt was doing, and the results are pretty stunning.
This is what happens when science takes a hard look at art. Researchers had 21 people stare at the night watch for 5 minutes, all while tracking every single one of their eye movements. This heat map is the result. Those bright red spots, that's where people's eyes spent the most time.
And what this proves is that our gaze isn't random at all. Actually, the data is incredibly consistent. Almost all of us are drawn to the exact same 3 faces: the captain in black, his lieutenant in yellow, and that mysterious little girl who seems to be glowing. Our eyes also get stuck in the details of the lieutenant's uniform. It's like Rembrandt is literally pointing, saying, "Look here, now look here."
But he even controlled the timing. It's wild. In the first minute, we are all locked on to those main characters. But as time goes on, our focus starts to broaden. By the last minute of viewing, our attention is drifted over to the drummer on the side, or even the dog barking down in the corner. He designed a whole viewing experience with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay, so knowing that he did it is one thing, but the real mystery is how. How did he make certain spots on the canvas so bright and so textured that they just magnetically pull our eyes toward them? Well, the answer isn't just about color, it's about physics. Rembrandt's main tool for pulling this off was a technique called impasto. You see, he wasn't just using paint to add color to a canvas. He was using it as a building material. An impasto is exactly what it sounds like. Thick, heavy, sculptural paint. It's laid on so thick that it creates a 3-dimensional surface on a 2-dimensional canvas. The paint is literally standing up, creating its own little mountains and valleys. I mean, just look at this. This is a close-up of the lieutenant's uniform. Those aren't just brushstrokes you're seeing. Those are actual ridges of solid paint. The painting is almost a sculpture, a kind of low relief. It has a physical texture you could actually feel.
And here's the brilliant physics of it all. Those raised ridges of paint physically catch more light from the room. At the same time, they cast these tiny little micro shadows right next to themselves. And that intense local contrast, that little pop of bright light next to dark shadow, it tricks our brains, making the whole area seem way brighter and more textured than any flat paint ever could.
And we can prove it. This is an X-ray of the painting. The really intense white spots show where the paint, specifically the lead-based white paint, is thickest. And what do you see? The hot spots line up perfectly with the eye-tracking hot spots. The lieutenant, the girl. They are physically the heaviest, densest parts of the entire canvas.
So this special thick paint was absolutely his secret weapon. But how did he make it? Regular oil paint, especially from the 17th century, is way too runny. It would just settle and flatten out. Rembrandt must have had a secret formula.
For centuries, nobody knew what that formula was. But thanks to some incredible new technology, we have finally found the chemical fingerprint that was hiding in Rembrandt's paint all this time.
And seriously, even with all our modern chemistry, his technique was astonishingly difficult to figure out. He used common materials, but he combined them in a way that nobody else did, creating a recipe that was completely and utterly his own.
The first huge breakthrough happened when scientists analyzed microscopic samples of the paint and found this: Plumbonacrite. It's a very, very rare lead compound. Finding it was a massive clue that Rembrandt was doing something highly unusual on a chemical level. But then, they found something even more shocking: lead formate. This compound had never been seen in a historical painting before, ever. This was the smoking gun. This was the proof that Rembrandt had invented a chemical process that belonged only to him.
So here's what scientists think the recipe was. He would have started with basic linseed oil. But then, and this is the genius part, he likely added a drying agent called lead oxide. This additive reacted with the oil in a unique way, causing this chemical transformation that resulted in a thick, paste-like paint that would hold its shape perfectly. And of course, it left behind Plumbonacrite and lead formate as its chemical fingerprints.
And this technical know-how wasn't a total secret. His own student, Samuel van Hoogstraten, even wrote about how Rembrandt would surround his brightest lights with lesser lights, knowing it would make them shine all the more beautifully. He just understood the principles of contrast intuitively.
So when you put all of this together, you move past Rembrandt the artist, and you start to see Rembrandt the engineer, an engineer of human perception.
This really is the Rembrandt method, from start to finish. It begins with chemistry, using an additive to create a unique texture. That special texture allows him to master the physics of how light behaves. And that mastery over physics gives him complete control over our psychology, letting him direct our eyes exactly where he wants them to go.
So you see, he wasn't just painting a representation of light on a canvas, he was using a unique chemical formula to physically construct a surface that was designed to capture, manipulate, and sculpt real-world light, all to create a very specific engineered experience for you, the viewer.
And the craziest part is that Rembrandt did all of this without any formal training in chemistry or optics. It was all just intuition and endless experimentation. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are hiding in the world's great works of art, just waiting for science to finally reveal them?